Hello, it is Thursday, October the 25th, the year 2012, and as usual, sports fans, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. I got all my NFL picks coming up. We're going to go through all the games. Not a great week in the NFL. There are some intriguing matchups. Not a great week, but there are some matchups I want to keep an eye on. We're going to go through all that in a second. First, I want to touch on the World Series. Last night, the Giants just bombarded the Tigers. They beat them 8-3 in Game 1, a game that was over early. The Giants continue to stay hot. They continue to roll. Zito pitches well. He goes 5 2/3 innings. He only gives up 1 run. How about Sandoval, the Panda? 3 home runs, setting records for postseason play. 4 hits in all, and the Giants just ambushed Detroit in Game 1. And what about Verlander last night? Not good at all, and that is a big blow to the Tigers' psyche. You know how much Verlander means to Detroit, and the Giants pounded him. Verlander didn't look good at all. I'm a little worried about Verlander because if you remember in the last series against the Yankees, even though the numbers look good against the Yankees and he pitched well against them, remember what he said in that Yankee series. He said he didn't have anything, and he didn't look like he had much yesterday. Big concern for the Tigers because Verlander means so much to them. And if you're the Giants, you have to be doing cartwheels. You pounded their ace. You take a 1-0 lead. You definitely take the advantage in this series. The Tigers looked like they were reeling yesterday. Now, let's not panic. It's only 1 game. If the Tigers come back and win tonight, it's a whole different series. It's 1-1 with 3 in Detroit. But if the Giants carry this momentum and go up 2-0, the Tigers are in big trouble. Last night's win also just about guarantees that the Giants are going to be back home for Games 6 and 7, and that if the Tigers win this series, they're going to have to do it on San Francisco soil. I mean, Detroit, do you really see them winning 4 in a row here and winning this in Detroit? I don't. So if Detroit actually wins this series, it's going to be on San Francisco soil, which will be very difficult because, as you saw, these American League lineups do not play well in a National League park because the pitcher has to bat. And remember what the Giants did to the Rangers a few years ago. They shut that lineup completely down, and that Ranger lineup was much better than this Tiger lineup. So very impressed with the Giants. Barry Zito pitching well. I mean, so impressed. Sandoval with 3 home runs. He only had 12 home runs the whole season, the big panda. I mean, and the crowd in San Francisco, tremendous, waving the orange pom-poms, tremendous. That ballpark is gorgeous with the water in the back. San Francisco's a beautiful city, so really nice atmosphere as well. I hope we actually get a close series. I mean, I hope this, goes back and forth. I hope this is not one-sided. So tonight, Fister against Bumgarner. Fister really needs to come up big for Detroit. Really needs a big performance. Also, a couple notes on last night's game. Valverde, who came in last night in the 7th inning, Leland's had enough of him closing, wanted to get a look to see if he had anything left. He comes in the 7th inning. He gets shelled again. 4 hits, 2 runs. Look for Valverde to be completely outcast now. He's not the closer anymore. Look for him to not even get an appearance anymore. He's terrible. He's been terrible this whole season. I mean, unbelievable that he was so good a year ago and just so bad this year. Look for him to be totally outcast now. How about Scudero again last night with 2 hits? The turning point in this game, it's only 1-0. We're in the 3rd inning. 2 outs, nobody on for San Francisco. Pagan hits a little dribbler down the 3rd base line. It's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. Hits the bag, kicks by Cabrera, goes into left field. Then after that, Scudero singles, another hit for him. He had 2 more hits last night. And then after that, the Panda came up, hit his 2nd home run of the game at that point. 3-run homer makes it 4-0. Turn off your sets, lights out, good night. The game was over right there. So tremendous job by the Giants. Lincecum comes in relief. He gives up no runs in 2 1/3 inning, 5 strikeouts. Lincecum's found a home in the bullpen now. You really like the karma from a Giants standpoint, and you don't like what you see from Detroit. It's only Game 1. I didn't like Verlander being shelled there. Did not like that he's such a big part of their team, and the Giants just belted him around. So let's keep an eye on that. Tonight is probably the huge swing game of this series. Like I said, either 2-0 San Francisco or 1-1 Detroit and 3 going back to Detroit for 3. Big game tonight. Fister needs to pitch well for the Tigers, to keep them in this series. This could get out of hand in a hurry. Okay, that's the baseball. Let's move on to the NFL. Let's move on to the NFL. We have our picks. Believe it or not, we are in Week 8 of the NFL. I was just talking yesterday how quick the college football season goes. How about the NFL? We're in Week 8. We're almost halfway through the NFL season. It's unbelievable how quick the NFL season goes. So enjoy these games. They're precious. Each game, hold on to because they go so quickly. All right, first up, we have the Thursday night game tonight in Minnesota. The Vikings, who are 5-2, play the Tampa Bay Bucks, who are a tough luck 2-4. The Buccaneers have played well this year. They have been in every game. Schiano has them really competitive. They're fighting. They're in every game. Not a lot to show for it, though. They're only 2-4. Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota, 5-2, the surprise team in the league, only won 3 games last year. They already have 5 wins. Adrian Peterson, a medical marvel, had a catastrophic knee injury last year, playing at a very high level this year. Defense all over the field. Allen all over the field. Coaching staff doing a tremendous job. Ponder, I mean, he hasn't even been great this year. What did he throw for 89 yards last week, and they still ended up beating Arizona? You gotta love Minnesota. You have to love what they've done this year. Hard to go against them here. Minnesota favored by 6.5. How do you not take Minnesota tonight at home? You have to. Tampa Bay has found ways to lose. Minnesota's found ways to win. I see the same thing happening here. I like Minnesota minus the 6.5 on Thursday against Tampa Bay. Let's move on. Let's move on to the London game in England. New England Patriots minus 7 over St. Louis. New England 4-3, a very shaky 4-3. St. Louis a very competitive 3-4. Jeff Fisher has them playing hard. Defense playing real hard. First of all, let me say this. I don't know why the NFL continues to push football in London. It's our game. It's the United States game. Why are we so concerned about pushing football in London? I don't understand it. I mean, I know people say, oh, they want to expand money. Money? The NFL can't make any more money. I mean, they make billions and billions of dollars. I mean, why do they continue to push this London thing? I have no idea. It's our game. I don't get it. And here's another thing. If you're going to push football in London, I mean, this game, all right, you have New England, you have St. Louis, okay, you can live with it. In the future, Jacksonville is going to be playing a game there every year for at least the next couple years. If you're going to put a team, to play in London every year, why would you pick Jacksonville? Jacksonville is the worst team in the league. They have no stars. I mean, maybe Jones-Drew, maybe. They have no other stars besides him. I mean, Gabbert is an unproven quarterback. I mean, you have nothing else going on there. It's hard enough to get the people in Jacksonville excited about the Jaguars. How are you going to get the people in London, a soccer community, excited about football when you put the Jacksonville Jaguars there? I don't get it. I don't understand the whole thinking behind it. But anyway, let me get to this game. I know I'm off on a tangent. New England Patriots minus 7 over St. Louis in London. This is a very strange game. If it was anyone else other than St. Louis playing New England and maybe a few other teams, I would take the underdog here. New England cannot stop anybody. They just can't. You saw the Jets move the ball up and down the field on them. I'm going to take New England, and here's why. St. Louis is one of the few teams that New England maybe can stop on defense. St. Louis does not have a big offense. They don't have a lot of weapons. I mean, they just don't. I mean, their top receiver is still out with an injury. St. Louis is not explosive. You saw that against Green Bay last week. St. Louis couldn't go toe-to-toe with Green Bay. Green Bay outscored them. They beat them 30-20. St. Louis can't match firepower with teams like that. And I think New England is in that same class. New England has a lot of firepower. They can score. I think for this game, this is going to be one of the few times I pick New England and actually play some decent defense. I think New England gets their points. I think they will do some things on defense to stop St. Louis. St. Louis is not a big offensive team. They're not going to put up 30 on you. So this is a game that New England can't handle. And believe me, I'm down on New England. I would love to pick against them. I can't here. I'm going to go with New England minus 7 over St. Louis in London just because of St. Louis's lack of big stars on their offense. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Tennessee. Let's go to Nashville. A great city, by the way, Nashville. If you haven't been there, definitely get down there. Nashville's a great city. Tennessee Titans, minus 3.5 over the Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee's won 2 in a row. They're showing life. They are 3-4. Colts having a nice season. They are 3-3. I'm going to be consistent here. I said from the beginning of the year, the Colts are going to play well at home in Indianapolis. They're not going to travel well. They're 3-1 at home. They could be 4-0. They lost a heartbreaker to Jacksonville. They should have never lost. They're 0-2 on the road, bombed by the Bears, bombed by the Jets. Tennessee, showing life, beat the Steelers, won last week. Tennessee's showing me some signs. Listen, I don't love Tennessee. I don't love their defense. They are showing some life. Hasselbeck with the big touchdown at the end of the game last week to beat the Bills up in Orchard Park. Johnson did bust out last week, 195 yards rushing. I think Tennessee at home can handle the Colts. You know, Luck is inexperienced. He's on the road. He's going to play better at home. I'm going to be consistent here. I'm going to pick against the Colts because they're on the road. I'll take Tennessee minus the 3.5 against Indy at Nashville. Let's move on to Green Bay, Lambeau Field. Just historic Lambeau Field. Another place you fans have to get to. If you haven't been to Green Bay, Lambeau Field, you have to put that on your list. Definitely get there. Just an unbelievable setting. Green Bay, 4-3, minus 15 against a 1-5 Jacksonville team. This is the biggest mismatch of the week. Pick your score here. Green Bay's getting well. I mean, they look hot now. They blow out Houston a couple weeks ago. They put up 30 on the Rams last week. Rodgers looks hot. The Green Bay's looking red hot. I know they lost Woodson for a month on defense. I know that's a loss. Their offense is going to overwhelm Jacksonville. Jones-Drew out for Jacksonville. Gabbert might play, may not. Even if he does, he's shaky to begin with. Jacksonville, not a lot going on. Pick your score here. Green Bay could put up 40 in this game. This could be a 42-14 game. I mean, look for Green Bay to just swallow up Jacksonville in a complete mismatch. Green Bay minus 15 over Jacksonville at historic Lambeau Field. Let's move on. San Diego. San Diego Chargers 3-3, minus 2.5 at Cleveland. Cleveland 1-6. Cleveland has been playing a little better lately. They beat Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. They were right there with the Colts. They hung in a while with the Giants. They hung in there with the Ravens. Still, they're only 1-6. They don't have a lot of talent. Whedon has shown some signs of improvement. You could have something there with him. They don't have a lot of talent. It's a shame, too, because Cleveland, those fans are so loyal. The dog pound I love. San Diego. I mean, what is going on with them? They were 3-1. It looked like they were a lot more organized on defense. It looked like they were finally going to come out of their doldrums from the last few years where they underachieved with North Turner. Here we go again. They lose 2 in a row. They blow the game to the Saints. Then they blow the game to the Broncos where they had the huge lead. They're 3-3. They had a week off last week. If the Chargers can't get it done here, they're never going to get it done. It's just then time to just rebuild the whole team, get rid of North Turnover, and start over. If you can't handle a bad Cleveland team, come on. I know the game is in Cleveland. Come on, San Diego. I'm taking San Diego just because I think they have more talent in general than Cleveland. I'm taking San Diego minus 2.5 over Cleveland. If San Diego can't get it done here, they're never going to get it done. Look for San Diego to rebound off 2 bad performances and beat Cleveland at the dog pound in Cleveland. Let's move on to a very intriguing matchup in Philadelphia. Philadelphia Eagles at home, 3-3, minus 2.5 over the undefeated Falcons. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say the Falcons are the best team in football. They're the most complete team. Matt Ryan at the end of the game is great. I would like to see them commit to the running game more. They seem to get away from their running game. I'd like to see that, but I am nitpicking. They are 6-0. Philadelphia fires their defensive coordinator 2 weeks ago. They had a week off last week. This is a very, very intriguing game. I'm going to take the Falcons because they seem to be more of a complete team. The Falcons find ways to win. They're 6-0. The Eagles just stumbling and bumbling at 3-3. They keep turning the ball over. Michael Vick keeps getting hit. They blow leads in a big spot. I don't trust Philadelphia. I think the Falcons are a more complete team, and I think at the end of the game, I trust the Falcons more than the Eagles. This game will be close, and who do you like coming down the stretch? Do you like Matt Ryan, or do you like the Eagles coming back? I like Matt Ryan. He's proven it all year he can score at the end of the games. The Eagles? They just seem to be fumbling and bumbling at the end of these games, especially lately. I mean, they lost that big lead to Detroit in the fourth quarter at home. That's a big warning sign. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Eagles. This is a very close game, a very interesting game. I like the Falcons to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. I'll take the Falcons plus 2.5 in Philadelphia in a very intriguing game. Let's move on to another interesting game. Let's go to Detroit. Detroit Lions at home, 2-4, -2 against the Seattle Seahawks, who are 4-3. The Detroit Lions are one of those underperforming teams, very disappointing team. Can't get out of their way. The Monday night game against the Bears was there for the taking. They couldn't take it. Turned the ball over 4 times, 3 in the red zone, 1 inside the 5. Detroit just missteps all over the place. I don't love their secondary, although they hung in there against the Bears. I don't like the Detroit running game. They do have Calvin Johnson, but they don't have much to complement him with. Stafford is shaky. I do like the Detroit front on defense. I mean, but there's so many things with Detroit I don't like, and you just can't trust Detroit. Now, from a Seattle standpoint, Seattle, much improved. Ferocious defense. We know they're a great home team. If this was in Seattle, I'd have no problem saying Seattle would bury Detroit. Little worried here on the road. Wilson, the rookie quarterback, can he do it on the road? They had a week off last week. They played the Thursday night game before that. They showed signs against San Francisco in San Francisco, but the bottom line is they only scored 6 points. They had a lot of drop passes, left a lot of points on the field. Can Wilson and the Seattle offense do it on the road? And I keep going back to this. They do have Matt Flynn as the backup, and they paid him a lot of money. They got him from Green Bay. They paid him a lot of money. How long do you go with Wilson as your quarterback if you still continue to struggle on offense, especially on the road? You don't want to keep wasting these great defensive efforts because your team cannot score. I'm going to take Seattle here +2 because I love their defense. Detroit is soft. Seattle had extra time to prepare. And I did see signs against San Francisco from the Seattle offense. Always shaky taking Seattle on the road. I'm going to go out on a limb and take them here. I say their defense overwhelms Detroit. I say the running game with Seattle with Lynch controls the ball. I like Seattle +2 in Detroit. All right, let's move on to yet another intriguing game. New York, MetLife Stadium, Meadowlands. The New York Jets at home at 3-4, -2 over the Miami Dolphins, who are a very competitive 3-3. Dolphins had a week off last week. Dolphins have been in every game. I love what I've seen from Tannehill, the rookie quarterback. He surprised me. I didn't think he'd be this good this quick. Dolphins in every game. First game they played the Jets in Miami, the Dolphins could have won. They actually missed a field goal that could have won this game. Jets, well, the heartbreaking loss to New England, a game they have to be kicking themselves over, a game they had to feel they could have won. Jets at 3-4. This game can go either way. With these two teams in this rivalry, you know it's going to be close. It's going to be a knockout, drag-em-out game. This game could be 17-16 either way. Just because of that, I'll take Miami with the +2. I think it's going to be a 1-point game either way. I think it's that razor close. Do the Jets build off their good performance against New England? Or are they so let down that they're down coming into this game? I think it's a very intriguing game. I like Miami +2 to keep it real close, possibly win it 17-16 someone. All right, let's move on to Chicago, historic Soldier Field, one of my favorite stadiums. I love the way they redid it. I know some people think it looks like a spaceship and all that kind of stuff. I love the way Soldier Field looks. That doesn't look like a bad seat in a house. I mean, I love the way it's constructed. I love the grass field, the old-time feel, the classic Chicago Bears, their defense. I mean, Chicago Bears here, 5-1, they come in, -7 over a 1-5 Carolina team who just fired their GM. How in the world can you pick Carolina here? Carolina's defense has been awful this year. All sorts of turmoil with the front office. They fired the GM, like I said. Cam Newton, sophomore jinx, looks terrible. Carolina has done nothing this year. 1-5. They go on the road and they're playing a 5-1 Bear team who just came off the big win against the Lions. Ferocious defense. I mean, their defense is all over the field. From top to bottom, their defense is playing well. They're taking the ball away. They're looking to score when they do take it away. You worry about Cutler with the rib injury. Sue laid a big hit on him last week. I think he'll be okay. We'll keep an eye on that as the week goes on. Chicago has no business losing at home to Carolina. No business. Not going to happen. Chicago should win comfortably at home in historic Soldier Field over Carolina. I like Chicago -7 over the Panthers. All right, let's move on to Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 3-3, -4 over the Washington Redskins, who are 3-4. The Steelers got a huge win in Cincinnati last week, a win they had to have. They couldn't fall to 2-4. They got a nice win there, 3-3. Their defense played well last week. Ike Taylor played well. You know they're going to be good on offense with Roethlisberger and all those receivers. The Steelers running backs, the backup running backs all played well last week. They might get Mendenhall and Redmond back this week. So Polamalu's still out. That's a concern because you don't like the Steelers when Polamalu is not in there. There's just something missing. I do think the Steelers are going to play well from here on out. I think you're going to see the best of the Steelers now. I think they're a definite playoff team. I think they're going to challenge Baltimore for the division, especially with all Baltimore's problems on the defensive end, and especially with all Baltimore's problems on the road. Look for the Steelers to start to get some momentum now after that win against Cincinnati last week. They're home here. They're playing Washington. From a Washington standpoint, we love Robert Griffin III. He's electric, dynamic. He's a star of the future. Schneider's got his star in him. The star he's been looking for at quarterback for years. You like what you see from Washington going forward. As far as this team goes, they've been in every game. They've been competitive. They are 3-4. I don't like Washington from this standpoint. They don't have a good offensive line. They don't have a lot of weapons. They have a bad defense. And a bad defense in Pittsburgh going up against that Steeler offense is a recipe for trouble. I like the Steelers to build off last week's win to beat the Redskins in Pittsburgh. Steelers -4 over the Skins in Pittsburgh, Heinz Field. All right, let's move on to Kansas City. Oh boy. Let's move on to Kansas City. Kansas City at home, -2 over the Oakland Raiders. Kansas City 1-5, Oakland 2-4. This is a matchup of two bad teams. If you've heard me before, you know how down I am on Kansas City. There's not a team in the league I'm more down on than the Chiefs. They had a decent year last year. They were expected to build off, Romeo Crennel taking over last year. If you remember last year at the end of the year, they were the team that ended the Packers' big winning streak. I mean, I thought they were going to have something this year. This year's been a total disgrace from the Kansas City standpoint, from top to bottom. Their defense is atrocious. They can't stop anyone. They turn the ball over left and right. When Castle was playing, he's basically like, all right, here's an interception. Here's a fumble. They don't do anything right. Their offensive line is terrible. Romeo Crennel's done a terrible job with the coaching staff. Castle will not play this week. He's coming off the concussion. He was cleared to play. They're going to go with Brady Quinn. How desperate are the Chiefs? They're going with Brady Quinn. We've seen him in the past. He's not good. He's not accurate. I don't like him at all as a quarterback. Desperation by the Chiefs. Oakland, they're 2-4. They did rally to beat Jacksonville last week. They played well against Atlanta 2 weeks ago. They did beat the Steelers. Oakland's 2-4. They're not going anywhere either. I have to like the Raiders here just for one reason. Palmer over Quinn. I mean, who would you rather have as your quarterback? I would rather have Palmer. I mean, I know he's getting a little long in the tooth, but how in the world does the Chiefs go with Brady Quinn here? I mean, my goodness, what desperation. Because of that, I am going to take the Raiders. I know always risky taking the Raiders on the road. It's a big rivalry. I think the Raiders off last week's win with Quinn quarterbacking for the Chiefs, that's enough to push me over to the Raiders. I think Palmer will have a big day against that Swiss cheese Kansas City defense. I like the Raiders. I know this one could come back to bite me. I'll take the Raiders +2 in Kansas City. All right, let's move on to a very, very interesting matchup. The New York Giants at 5-2, first place in the East. -2 over the Dallas Cowboys, who are at home here. Dallas at 3-3. They beat Carolina last week. Very intriguing matchup. If you remember the first game of the year this year, Dallas went into New York and beat the Giants. Very intriguing matchup. I think the Giants, when they bring their A game, can beat anyone. You can play on Jupiter. The Giants can win there. They can play on the road. They can play at home. When the Giants bring their A game, they can beat anyone. You saw that when they played San Francisco this year in San Francisco and demolished the Niners. The Giants can get sloppy. They kind of play down to their competition. They kind of make a lot of mistakes against bad teams and keep them in the game. I think the Giants are going to be up for this game. Dallas beat them already. The Giants don't want to lose to them twice and lose that tiebreaker. I think the Giants are going to be up for this game. I think they're going to bring their A game. Dallas, 3-3. It's so typical of Dallas to have a record like that. They never give you a complete game, it seems. You always expect more from them. I just don't know what it is. They always you want to see a complete effort from them from start to finish. Even last week against Carolina, You just hope they go in there and blast a bad Carolina team. And they were in a dogfight at the end of that game. They have talent. They have Romo. They have some weapons on offense. I like what they did in the secondary, improving the secondary. I think if the Giants bring their A game, which they will, I think the Giants will win this game. So I'm taking the Giants -2 over the Big D in Dallas. Okay, let's move on to the Sunday night game. Not a great Sunday night game in Denver. Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, 3-3, -6 over the New Orleans Saints, who are 2-4. Now, I've said it before. Everyone seems to think, oh, the Saints are back. They won 2 in a row. Here they go. They're going to go on this big winning streak. Not me. You know why? They can't stop anyone. Even last week against Tampa Bay, they gave up a tremendous amount of yardage. Freeman threw for over 400 yards against them. I can't trust New Orleans. I just can't. They don't play any defense, especially on the road. You can't trust them. I know Breeze is great. I know he's spectacular. We all love him. They could score with anyone. They can't stop anyone. I have no faith in them here this week. Denver at home. I mean, Denver at home here, off a bye week with Peyton Manning in that offense. Denver's going to score at will. They're going to go up and down the field. They're going to control the game. They'll get enough stops at home on defense. I like Denver and Peyton Manning to beat the Saints. Denver -6 over the Saints in Denver just because of New Orleans' bad defense. Swiss cheese defense. Don't like them. I like Denver. All right, let's move on to the Monday night game. Another intriguing matchup. San Francisco 49ers at 5-2. A shaky, disappointing 5-2 if there ever is such a thing. -7 over the Arizona Cardinals, who are home. Arizona 4-3. Very intriguing matchup. This should be a slugfest. These two teams should pound on each other. You want to see a hard-hitting game? Tune in Monday night to this game. These two teams are going to get after it, slugging it out. Like I said, been disappointed with San Francisco this year. They are 5-2. I thought they'd be a dominant team. Minnesota pushed them around, and the Giants buried them in San Francisco. And San Francisco struggled with Seattle at home. Seattle left a lot of points on the board in that game. San Francisco has work to do. Don't like what I'm seeing from them. Arizona, here's what I like. Love their defense. Love it. Ferocious defense. Offense shaky with Skelton and Cobb at quarterback. Both shaky. Running backs always hurt. They have Fitzgerald at receiver, but no one to complement him, so they constantly, other teams double Fitzgerald. I'm going to take Arizona here +7 because they're home. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think obviously San Francisco could win. I see a low scoring 16-13 game either way in a slugfest in the desert. Hits left and right. Tune into this game if you want to see old-fashioned, slug 'em out, nasty football. Very intriguing game on Monday night. 4 teams have a bye week this week. The Buffalo Bills, and believe me, they need it after their debacle against Tennessee last week. Houston has a bye. They look like the best team in the AFC. It's all seashells and balloons for Houston after their big win against Baltimore. Cincinnati has a bye. They need it. They've lost 3 in a row. They got to get their defense straightened out. And Baltimore has a bye, and they better wake up. Don't like their road performance. So many injuries on defense, and where was Flacco on the offense last week? So those are your teams with the bye week. You guys, that's all the NFL picks. I want you guys to enjoy all the games this week. Definitely keep an eye on the college football. You have Oklahoma, Notre Dame on Saturday. You have Florida, Georgia in the largest outdoor cocktail party, a very special game. Watch that game. You have Alabama, Mississippi State, a battle of 2 unbeatens. We're going to see if Alabama can remain unbeaten when they have that big showdown in LSU a couple weeks from now. You have all the baseball. You have your World Series. Big game tonight, game 2. Swing game. Pfister in Detroit against Bumgarner and the Giants in San Francisco. So you guys enjoy the games over the weekend. You guys stay safe. I will be back with you Monday. I will talk to you then. Enjoy the games. Stay safe. Talk to you soon. Take care.